Okay, my name is Colin Blinkship, and we're going to build a crate. It's exciting. Alright, so I'm going to start with a basic box. The crate we're building is pretty simple. We've got better reference in class in the classroom, but this will get us started. What I want to do is get basic shapes, get the broad silhouette first, and then go into the level 2 details, and see if we can start hitting up on the smaller little level 3 type details. Screw holes and some of these paneling can be done textures, or we can do it in model. It doesn't really matter. Either way, we'll probably look at both directions in this class. So let's go ahead and start. I think we all agreed upon a meter by meter, so let's get started by that. If we're going to build by a meter, we're going to go ahead and use centimeters as our base measuring point. So I go to customize, unit setup. We want to be in generic units. We want to go systems units. We want to be in centimeters, 1 to 1. Everything's great. So now if I build a box, I go keyboard entry. I can do 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters. It's going to be at 0, 0, 0, 0. Fantastic. And it's weird that it built it that way, but that's okay. Let's build it here. Try again. Shouldn't build it that way. Box. Keyboard entry. Great. That's what I want to see. Now, there's our base crate. And what I want to do first off is go ahead and put the pivot point in the center. Later on, we will actually have the center point down low for our game engine setup, but we're modeling right now, and we're modeling an object that's pretty much symmetrical in all directions. So let's keep the pivot point in the center. Go back into here. All right, sweet. Hit F4, we got our wireframe on. I'm going to change the color of the box real quick. So it makes everything a lot easier to see. All right, let's go a little bit brighter. Yeah, we can see that. All right, cool. Now we can start with segments. If we're going to do it, probably going to have 3. Or we could just not worry about it and do it later. Either one's fine. We'll start off with this. What I'm going to go ahead and do is right click, convert to a poly, and I'm going to grab all edges, 2 on the keyboard, control A, and I'm going to do a big chamfer to get the big blocky shape. So I go to the options box and get the caddy menu. I can jack that up a little bit. Looks good. Hit OK. So there's our base silhouette. Alright. So next we can attack these angles. The thing to keep in mind is looking at how we can use the angles that are here. You can see some of the actual sketch lines. They line up. It's industrial. That makes sense. But there's areas that we can use as modeling that'll help us make things easier in our lives. So managing to keep things lined up will help us when we're connecting our edges down the road. So grab this face, grab this face. I'm going to do a little inset. Hit OK. I'm going to hit a little do an extrude. I'm going to go negative space. Alright, so there's that basic shape. Hit OK. Now the reason why I did this extrude first, before I did these extrudes, here I'll show you. I'm going to do a connect here. So we're going to use these edges to get this edge set up. So the problem we have is that the angles are crazy because of all the geometry in here, and that's what the connect's trying to do, is trying to make it as clean of a straight line as possible. We're not worried about UVs at this point, so we can use some scaling techniques to kind of hack ourselves into a better position. Let's go ahead and leave that there, and we'll go split. Oh, we want 2, not 3. And we can change the distance, and we can change location. We want to leave that flat. Change that down a little bit. So what we're going to do there, it's good. Alright, I'm going to use the scale tool now. So I click on that line, double click on this line, I get the whole loop selection, edge loop. I'm going to scale this my mouse wheel won't change crazy. One of the things we want to think about also, we can scale the whole edge here by changing our selection of the pivot points. We'll get into those more later. There we have our nice cutaway edges. Our edge loops are there, so we just position them a little bit better. Of course, now we can do a quick chamfer. Now, I have some students who are chamfering where they see they need to, and I get the idea of that, but on the same note, if we chamfer everything together, we can collapse later. And again, I'm thinking about the details, such as these things that I may model or I may texture. I'm not sure, depending on how far and how close I go and what kind of details I want to add into it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to model it for the high poly, so I might as well go ahead and put it in there. And notice how also these go across, and that sits a little lower. This right here, this little inset here, seems to match up with these insets right here. That looks a little lower, looking at the reference of it, but they're still basically the same edges. So we can work on that. Hit OK. Now, I want to go ahead and think about what I'm going to chamfer here. I don't want to chamfer the whole thing. I don't need these, but I want to look at the relationship that's happening in that space. This isn't a very clean reference, but if I were to say that this edge is flush with this edge here, then I probably want to be careful about how I want to chamfer this. So let's do a quick test. Start with an extrude. Now, if we look at this, notice how it's extruding kind of on a flat angle, and we want to extrude actually on the normals of the object. So let's change this option here to local normal, and change this down a little bit. Wait, did I want to do that right? I want to do group. Yeah, local normal. So I've got some issues here with some overlapping happening. If I were to undo that, let's take some edges off. Actually, now let's just redo that. We'll fix that in a little bit. Do extrude. And OK. Now, what we want to do is look at how we can fix some of this, because there's a lot of messy geometry that's causing issues. Alt W. So let's see. If I target weld, target weld is great because it allows me to keep some objects in place while I move other objects into locations. So there, we'll take this and we'll move that down into here. I can probably go ahead and collapse those two edges. Now, I've got one corner set up. I've got to do a whole bunch more. Well, this is the power of symmetry. Let's go ahead and fix one side. Do target weld. No, target weld. All right. So that's that side and that side. So we can go ahead and actually select that edge there, that edge there, that edge there, that edge there. And I hit Control Backspace. I'll get rid of those edges for me. And those are all quads and clean. All right. Now, instead of actually redoing all those across all the faces, we're going to go ahead and use symmetry. So right click, buttons are showing, mesh editing. I'll go ahead and use symmetry. Left and right working right there. So we go back over here. If we want, we can add another symmetry. This symmetry will be on the Y. And we'll flip it. And now our crate is completely silhouetted out. Let's go ahead and save as. Save as. Go find a space for it. Call it crate. 01. one so we don't confuse it with the other crate project. I hit OK. Awesome. Now, we're here, and there's a lot of things we can do at this point. I'll go ahead and collapse it all to editable poly. We can save as a new version and keep the symmetry in there, but I'm fine with where we're at. Let's go ahead and look at UV. So click the UV, right click, UV coordinates, UV unwrap. I'm not expecting to have a finished UV set, but what I want to do is get my UVs organized to where I actually know where everything's at. So first off, we can just go ahead with flatten, mapping. I do this with most of my objects. Not a surprising result. We can fix these things pretty easily. And the neat thing is, it's like we can look at it a whole lot of different ways. We haven't done any work on the top or the bottom yet. We really only worked on the side and these little channels. And so those channels are symmetrical. We can get rid of a lot of stuff and make our UVs a little cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and collapse everything down. Select these faces and delete. I can select these faces and delete. Now I've got this little bitty piece here, and I can unwrap it. And now at this point, what I can do is start assembling it real quickly. I go to edge mode, hitting 2, I can hit stitch selected. Sort everything. If we click over here, all I'm doing is just a quick boom. That'll sort things a little bit better. Right click, stitch selected. Is that another thing? Okay, so that's out in space. Now we gotta remember in 3ds Max, if I go to a right click in the menu, and this is in here as well, as it is in here, if that's white, that means that was the last action executed. In this quad, I can hit this little box here, and that'll repeat the actual functionality of that right-click function. So selected. Turn that off. Target weld and the inverts. Alright, so it's not fantastic. There's some work I can do, but basically it's organized, it's clean. There's a lot fewer islands than it was before. I'll go ahead and collapse it. Hit OK, collapse 2. That's a corner piece, kind of funky. Then I can add the symmetries to it. Flip, add a symmetry to it. Flip on the Y, not flip. And then let's go ahead and add a poly and add the UVs. Take a look at what we got going on here. There's going to be some welded images, and there's going to be some unwelded stuff. And let's flatten it out. Alright, so we got a lot of mirrored and similar pieces, overlapping pieces, things of that nature. It's not exactly as clean as it could be, so let's go ahead and just look at another method. Alright, so I have control save. So let's take a look at another way of unwrapping this. And let's unwrap it by the edges instead. So we're back where we were when we did the holds on the original save. Now I'm looking at getting rid of all of this. And delete. Now we can look at heading the edges up. That might be a little easier for us. So I unwrap. I got the edges selected. Now I can do a planar solution here as well. Take a look and see what's happening. So now instead of attacking the corners, I'm attacking the sides all directly. And that's a different solution. That's what's going on. Let's add these faces in here. I'm just making sure I got everything selected I want. Fit. Off, slide that over. That was a lot easier. Actually, you know what? I can go in here and do it here. Let's open up that bad boy again. Hit 3, edit, select, invert, and then repeat the process. Cleaner, faster. So those are two different ways to unwrap this object. Collapse it. And then go back into here to the mesh editing and then symmetry. And let me just add another symmetry. If I do this, I think we're going to get the problem with that is that we're not getting what we want. So let's go undo that, and then we can add another symmetry here, make it Y. And let's see what our UVs look like now. Probably messy. So there's our UVs. Clean that up. Select by element. Alright, so the thing about the symmetry is that when we did this, we've got objects going the same direction. So if we look at that and then we look at this, clearly this goes a different direction, so we'll need to flip that. So now we can weld these edges together. Go to edge mode, stitch selected. Go to edge mode, stitch selected. Stitch selected. Stitch selected. Stitch selected. Sweet. Ooh. Let's organize everything in here. It's a crate more or less set up. Alright, easy fix on the caps. On the poly. Cap those. Now we gotta connect here. Alright, we talked about connect before. If I click here, I can connect that. Now I cannot connect to this. I'll have to do something else. I'll have to use a connect. Nope, said I can't use a connect. Cut. Now, big thing about snaps. I'm gonna turn the snap on. I'm gonna right click. I want to make sure that you are in vertex mode and nothing else. That way it will snap to the vertex. And that's clear. That's clear and that's clean. Alright. There's our base crate. There's more detail to be added, but I will make that in another video.